Yes, that's right, gamers. The Skylanders have wheels and wings and nautical stuff like submarines and hovercrafts. Hi, I'm Chris Stead from Grab It Magazine, and I was lucky enough to get a demonstration of Skylanders SuperChargers, the 5th game in the series, just last week, and I thought I'd share you some of my insights. So for the most part, you're looking at the same platform, 3D Mario 64 Crash Bandicoot style gameplay I've been enjoying for years. But now we have these vehicle sections, which you can see right now. These sections are split up into air, water and land-based things. These are off the beaten path. You do not have to do them, so you can play the game without a vehicle if you want. Don't know why you would. There will be 20 vehicles all up, and they'll be paired with 20 different characters. Some of those new, some of those returning supercharged, of course, with new abilities and so forth. The interesting thing is that co-op will be in the game, and as with the previous versions, and different character can jump on, you can run around at the same time with your buddies. But in the car sections, co-op isn't like that. Instead, one dude becomes the driver, the other dude becomes the co-pilot and kind of focuses on the threats going around. So that's how co-op play is going to play. I did pick the Activision guys' brains about the idea of having a completely separate Mario Kart mode. The answer was non-existent, so they weren't going to tell me either way whether or not it was or wasn't happening. I think maybe it probably will. Why not? You build all this track, you build all this physics, you build all this gameplay. Why not create a spin-off mode where you can race your mates? It is worth noting though that these aren't actually race tracks. They're just A to B sections of the world that you traverse in a vehicle. So what that means is that you can stop, do level puzzles in your vehicle form. There's combat sections, boss battles, including a really awesome boss battle in like a huge water-based pool area with waves. Looks fantastic. Looks like it plays like a lot of fun too. Fair bit of more strategy than you expect from a Skylanders style of game as well. You're encouraged to explore during these racing sections and go off the beaten path, where you'll find things like mods that you can just pick up, pause the game and add to your car right there on the spot, including the addition of that visually, as well as obvious extra ability you're going to gain. When you combine the right character and the right car, it will go supercharged, giving you heaps of extra abilities, heaps of extra powers, and just looking damn cool at the same time. I did query the Activision representative about how much actual freedom you had while you were driving the vehicles, and the reality is that you can't just freeform off into anywhere, especially when you're in the aircraft. You can't just disappear into the ether. You have to more or less stay on rails. You have movement within that tube of space, but you can't just like veer off, and the aircraft is always going to be moving you forward. You will, however, be able to kind of slow it down or speed it up. So that's kind of how the aircraft works. The car and the water-based stuff will actually be more controllable. You'll be able to stop and start. All 300 plus characters you can already get for Skylanders, plus the 20 new ones, will be playable in the game, and that means that they will squeeze into the vehicles. There's animations for each, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. And that includes the big Giants characters, so they will squeeze their big butts into those small cars somehow. Looking forward to see how that works. The premise is typically silly. It's involving chaos yet again, returning to the Skylands with evil deeds in mind. He's controlling the doom station of ultimate destruction. So yes, it appears that the Skylanders are going to face the very real threat of my 4-year-old son after he's had a heap of red cordial. When Activision set out its 5-year plan for Skylanders, it had its eyes set on this title. That's what I was told. So you can see very clearly they've put a hell of a lot of effort into this. The game looks great. It sounded great too. I really picked up on the sound effects while I was listening to this game in action. And I think that the idea of adding the cars is going to add a real extra element to the experience that, you know what, I don't know, kind of got a bit stagnant in SWAT Force. Track team was okay, but didn't really blow it out of the water. So this is a big play for the Skylanders brand. And it's a big play for parent wallets. I got to admit, I got 2 kids, they love Skylanders, and I'm a bit concerned about having to fork out for 3 different car types to get access to all the areas of the game. But you know, that's the business model. It's worked well for Activision in the past, and everything I'm seeing so far looks like it's going to be pretty good. You should drop by the Grab It Magazine website to get some more insights. I just published an article that included 16 little bits and pieces that I picked up off the Activision representatives at the demonstration. But other than that, set your eyes on September 24 here in Australia, when the game will be releasing on pretty much every format, including iOS, which I'm really stoked about. So thanks for joining me, gamers. This is my first ever one of these videos, so hopefully it went alright. Like us, subscribe!